Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inside the Birds post-game show. Geoff Mosher and Adam Caplan and the Philadelphia Eagles get to 7-2 back atop the NFC with a 10-7 win in Lambeau against the Green Bay Packers in a game that, Adam, the style and the complexion of the game, we could not have predicted. We could have said it would be a good defensive battle, two good defensive teams, but I don't think anybody could have seen the type of game coming that was played, which was a 10-7 game in which there were I don't think there were any points until late in the third, fourth quarter. So it was a very interesting, very weird kind of style of game. I know people, Adam, will have some difficulty here over the next 2 or 3 days reconciling the idea of a win against a good team that puts them back atop the conference over the fact that the blemishes on offense are there, some strange coaching decisions at the end of the half. The way I view it is, in a big picture way, Adam, is that maybe in the past I would have worried that this was kind of an ominous type of win where you worry about what lies ahead. But this Eagles team played a very tough, very physical game. I think they deserve more credit than question. I think they've won this type of game in the past, so they get that benefit of the doubt, even with their blemishes. And overall, to me, it's a more impressive win than a concerning win, which they've had in the past.
Yeah, look, it was grimy, gritty. It's a Kyle Shanahan term. Sirianni talked about it after the game. By the way, Eagles 4-1 on the road now. Sirianni, over his first 5 years of his career, one of the best head coaches in NFL history on the road. It's pretty impressive how good of a head coach this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get enough credit. I know nationally, I think what's happened here with him is the people had real issues with him with his behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really hearing that because they continue to win.
True.
That's the thing, because there's folks know, if you're paying attention, he's got a ton of national criticism.
Yeah.
Especially
he also hasn't picked any fights with anybody in the stands, so that helps.
Like he did
on his end, he's been a little bit more calm too.
Yeah, and he knew that. It was obvious. Either Jeffrey Lurie talked to him, something happened where someone got in his ear, and he finally did that. You want him to still be fiery, which you'll see him with the camera, but there's a respectful way to do it.
Yeah,
he's doing that, and they got the win. They got the 3 points late in the third quarter and got it started. It was like a slog. That's what I called it, an offensive slog by both teams. The defense took over. We'll get to that, but the overview is it's a win. It's their third in a row. You feel good about it. They're right at the top. This is a wide open year in the National Football League. To me, again, I said it last week, I'll say it again. They have the best chance of anyone. The trade for Phillips is majorly impactful. Week one, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes when we get to the defense. But think about this, though. It's like getting 3 new players back after the bye. Phillips is new. BG's technically new because he came out of retirement. And Nolan Smith is back. That's, if you want to know how you play this well defensively, we gave you the answers.
Yeah. No, I think you just hit it on the head. And this is what I can't get out of my head. No matter how ugly or weird the game is for the Eagles, that they probably have more quality wins in this year in the NFL than anybody. I mean, they've beaten some really good teams. You know, they've beaten the Rams, right? They've beaten the Chiefs. They've now beaten a Packers team on the road. They have good win. Bucks. The Bucks are a good team. They have really good wins.
On that. Yeah, a couple things. All right, I just want to jump in. Strength of victory, number 1 in the NFC at 516.
There you go.
Yeah, their strength of schedule, wins is right up there. They're at 512. The only teams that played harder schedule. I knew Tampa Bay played the hardest schedule.
Yep.
But Tampa Bay is at 536. And Minnesota's played a tough schedule, 524. And Arizona and Atlanta are up there in New Orleans. But the big thing is the strength of victory, and your point. It's interesting. They've had some, obviously games they should win easily, and then they've had some games that are really tough. The Rams are really, really good.
They are.
Green Bay is, well, let's get back to the game. Green Bay's defense is really, really good. They had a couple injuries, but they're another team that sometimes plays to their running game and their defense. They try to, but they only scored 3 points.
Right. And to the point you were making, in the NFC, which this year I feel is wide open, and I do feel that the Eagles aren't as dominant, right? Like there's a less of a gap between them and whoever's second, third, or fourth. I mean, they beat the Rams on a field goal, right? I mean,
they got down 19. Yeah,
right. The Bucks. I mean, that was close. So they've come back to the pack a little bit because of some of their Their holes on defense a little bit, and obviously the defenses have done better against them offensively in the run game because they don't have this impactful run game like they have, but they are still winning these games. Is a really clear, it just speaks to how good they are. That's the point you're making. They are a very good team, so that even if you're catching them when they're not at their best, when they have some weaknesses that you can exploit, it's still hard to beat them. And this game was a perfect example of that. And I do know that the discourse this week will be, man, again, Kevin Petullo's play calling, and Nick Sirianni, for as good as a coach that he is, deserves to be at least come under question for those decisions at the end of the half. First half, way too conservative. Second half, way too aggressive. But in general, when you can come out of the game with these kind of questions and concerns and say, hey, they're 7-2 and they beat nearly everybody they play, including some good games, then you know that things are going well. And look, it's not going to get much easier. You've got a good Lions team coming up, and the Cowboys have made some changes on defense. We'll see if that makes them any better. Their offense is certainly prolific, and even after that game, I think that there's another good team on. The Bears aren't that bad, so you look forward and you say, hey, I trust the Eagles to win these games because they constantly do.
The things are so mentally tough. I mean, the offensive slog, passing game, it's your typical, let's get to offense first. It's your typical, okay, doesn't look good. They hit the check down to Barkley for 41 yards. Okay, that counts. It sure as hell counts. And then he hits Smitty, great protection, great catch. Hurts put it on him. That to me was Hurts in 2022 when he trusted the pass target. That ball was coming out. He saw one-on-one coverage. That ball sure as hell is coming out, and it did. But that's, it helps the average per pass attempt because it was downfield. You could be at 4 yards, but then it could go to 8 yards with a big play. But that's just the way it is. This kind of way that this offense has been this season. Low pass yards, a couple big plays a game. Running game, we'll get started there. Really, I think you're starting to see a little bit of the impact of Juergens not being there. There were some times where clearly Bertov got beat.
Yeah,
clearly not as good as he was in the Giants game. We'll talk to Greg Cosell later today. We taped the Inside the Tape show. We'll see what Greg says, but there's certain things you can see on TV. It didn't look as good.
Right.
There were some runs that Barkley had which were good, and Hurts had a 10-yarder that was good to see. Now, my one criticism, and I saw it on social media. I don't disagree with any of it. I understand when you're third and more than 10. You feel like, it's a give up down, and Sirianni was asked about that. He didn't agree with it because, by the way, they hit the big one with Bigsby. What was it? Third and a couple weeks ago.
On one play.
Right.
That's where we disagree with Sirianni. Like, you can't play. That's not a projection to like why they should always do that.
Of course not. It's like, it's just not. It's not realistic. But okay, sure. That's one I would like to see him throw the football, considering the pass target group that they have, but. You just have to live with it. So the run game, it did show signs of life. I know it's funny. You were texting Andrew and I. You're like, "Oh, first play, big play, running game." You were expecting it. Sometimes it happens, but look, this is not the Eagles' offensive line of last year. They're just not the same physically.
Right.
Hopefully, the bye. There are some good signs though. It wasn't like some of the games earlier this season, but they're still not there with the run game.
Right. At halftime, I was thinking that the Eagles were. They had a respectable run game. I mean, all year long, they've either had the great one against the Giants or they've been terrible. But Barkley had the 15-yarder. Bigsby, I think Will Shipley even had a decent run in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. I knew that.
Think.
Yeah. So they had like some decent runs, and they were 18 for 77 as a team, including Jalen Hurts, by the way, who had a nice run. He just happened to fumble at the end of it. It was a really well-designed call. One of those calls, those spread quarterback keepers up the middle that they used to do a lot, but
when they were empty, right?
Spread empty right up the middle. It was a beautiful play call. I just fumbled, and I thought, okay, so this is a respectable run game that they've got against a good Packers defensive front. So I would have been all right with that, even if the numbers weren't like what they normally were. You're just looking for signs of life again from the Eagles run game. But I think where it was really disappointing was third quarter and fourth quarter when you have that 10-0 lead. And instead of getting even 2 and 3 yard grinded out runs, you had -6, you had -2. I mean, they were really going backwards with the run game there. And that's something that they're going to have to figure out, Adam, as they go forward. they continued to do some good things, which is going under center, right? Going jumbo, alternating between shotgun, under center. They did run on the outside a little bit, but they were clearly too predictable in the and not executing in the third and fourth quarter. Again, the offensive line plays a role in that. Nick, you saw Lane Johnson get himself right back on the field with the ankle injury because he could sense that they needed him. But you also saw too many times where Barkley was hit as soon as he's touching the ball. So they've got to figure out ways when they do have a respectable run game late in games to be able to figure out the way to grind the clock out. Because had they lost this game, it would have been because they couldn't get enough time off the clock when they were up 10-0. They couldn't grind out more time off the clock.
Yeah, Lane missed 26 snaps due to his ankle injury. He came back in the fourth quarter. Did a good job of toughing it out. The injury, if you watch it, I watched it like 5 or 6 times. I was able to watch it during breaks in the fourth quarter just to take a look at it. He got hit in the side of his ankle. It wasn't, if you saw, like when you see a high ankle sprain, usually gets bent back. It wasn't bent back quite like I saw originally live. I'm like, oh no, it's higher up. But he didn't. It was on the side of his ankle. And now it doesn't mean he's going to practice a lot this week at all.
No, yeah.
You know,
I mean, that was the ankle that was surgically repaired. So you always get worried
it was
about
taped
that.
up. You could see it heavily taped up, but you give
when
him
he
credit.
had the tightrope on.
Oh, okay. He was obviously, and Fred Johnson. It's funny. The guy they traded away, Darian Kennard, that trade has not worked out. They got a 6th-round pick. When I say that, they could have clearly used him this season in a variety of ways because he could play guard and tackle, but they had to make the trade for Fred Johnson. Man, has he become valuable. Holy smokes. I mean, they've certainly got a value out of that trade, that part of it.
Yeah.
Lot of 12 personnel in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Kylan Granson did play 17 snaps on offense. Darius Cooper is back. When he plays, it's almost always the block.
Yeah. I think he got hurt again. Did he not?
He hurt his shoulder, came back in. Yeah, he came back in.
Yeah.
But it's that he's had the shoulder problem. Remember, he was on IR. 10 points is not acceptable to anybody. We'll find out what the tape looked like. How many plays did they leave on the field? Which plays did they leave on the field?
Mm-hmm.
What could have been better? And good for Troy Aikman to point out the receivers have to come back to the football.
Yes.
This is like
you've been on that all year, by the way. You've been really good noticing that all year.
It's really bad because Mahomes, they know how he plays off schedule. Come back to the football. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, you really have to come back to the football. Lamar, sometimes you have to come back to the football. Justin Herbert will do it. The kid
Allen.
in Dart, you have to do it.
Allen.
Man, this is today's NFL, man. Come back to the damn football. Don't wait for it. That's on Aaron Moorhead, the receivers coach, and Sirianni. And you could say Patullo, but it's more Sirianni and Moorhead to reach the receivers. They have to do a better job of that.
I would agree with you. And I thought it was there were some pretty obvious examples. You're right. Aikman pointed it out. On the flip side, Devontae Smith continues to be the guy who comes up with all of the high leverage catches, huge touchdown, really one-on-one. He's become sort of Jalen Hurts' one-on-one guy. He used to be AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's right.
I would really love to know if we did a couple of weeks ago on Inside the Data with Sam Finkel, average separation stats, and it did show a sign of regression over the last few years for AJ Brown in separation. But some of that is contextual. Some of that's usage, the routes you're running. And I continue to think that the coaching staff in general, and it's easy to put it on Patullo, but the way you're used is also an entire offensive staff, not just the play calling. It just doesn't seem like they capitalize all the time on AJ Brown's strengths. They don't try to get him routes, as you always say, the bang eight or things underneath to get him to be able to catch the ball in stride. But there may be a reality. There may also be a reality here that he's no longer the guy that he once was, and that Devontae Smith has replaced him. I mean, that part is inarguable. Devontae Smith is the number one receiver right now on this team. He has been all year. He doesn't lead the team in touchdown catches. Goddard does, but I believe he leads the receivers in touchdown catch. Either not, he leads them in receptions, receiving yards, and whenever the Eagles get a big play, 9 times out of 10, it's to Devontae Smith. That goes back to
unbelievable. What's that?
It goes almost back to the Super Bowl. I mean, he's just become that guy.
But the bang eight play, basically, it's a play that the Titans ran since AJ was there. It was a slant over the middle. You could do it with play action or not, but the bottom line is they've done it here a little bit, not nearly enough. And you take advantage of AJ Brown's build. He's just massive, got the massive arms, and it's hard for DBs who are smaller than him that they like he swats away like flies. It just you can't do it. We know the numbers show and the tape shows Hurts doesn't like to throw the ball over the middle. That's not an arguable point. It's been a fact for 5 years. But every once in a while he does it.
Right. He'll throw the defined reads. He'll throw the defined read ones, right? Like off play action.
I don't care how you do it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they're not creating those for AJ.
Yeah, that's on Patullo. I don't understand it. Exactly, because they're not calling it. They rarely call it. It's we know Hurts is arguably right now the NFL's best deep ball thrower. He's phenomenal at it. But they're just saying you can't make your money on it. They made it in 22. The league had enough of it. They said they saw it. They're going to take it away.
Yeah.
Everyone, they still do it every game. They hit one or two of them shot plays, but that'll he'll go from 80 yards to 150. That's kind of what happens on a couple of shot plays. But they're still a low volume pass team, but they're still meat on the bone, like Hurts says. There's so much more they can do and need to do if they want to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I thought Jalen in general was I think both quarterbacks you could say this about. They were just a little off, and I don't know if that was weather, field related, wind. I mean, Nick Sirianni talked about the wind, but there were about 3 or 4 throws that Jalen normally makes, I would say, outside the numbers, on either comebacks or outs.
Oh,
he underthrew Devontae Smith on one that was very on Jalen.
That had nothing to do with the weather. It didn't look like it to me. It looked like his arm angle. If you slow it down, he didn't. It may have been he didn't get a clean step. His front his hip turn. It was weird the way he finished.
Yeah,
and you
he
saw
had somebody barreling down on him, right?
We'll ask Greg what he thought about that throw. So I thought just the first half. I was talking to our Patreon people or tier 3 level people. Boy, another sellout crowd, by the way. Wow, that was great.
Nice.
Clearly, they wanted to talk. We're probably going to do one Sunday night. Maybe we'll invite everyone, but for the Lions game, but. The first half was a slog. It just seemed like their timing was off, where the defense didn't have any problem coming off the bye. Right. So you added 3 new players, more or less. But the bottom line is, and we'll move on to defense in a minute. There's a lot of meat on the bone. Coaches always talk about they love corrections because you see what teams are trying to do to you. So you go, okay, they're playing a ton of cover 2. Are we taking advantage of the voids? There's voids in every single zone defense. Folks, believe it or not, there's never a coach who worked in the NFL and said, "Oh, there's no openings." Bullshit. There are openings. Okay. It's complete nonsense. For people to say guys aren't open, you're going to find areas. You just have to exploit it. And that's where coaching comes in and quarterback development. They have to be better. 10 points is not acceptable. I get it. Green Bay's got a good defense. Nate Hobbs didn't play, by the way. That's a big deal.
Right.
I mean, they did a good job, Green Bay, but 10 points will never be acceptable.
No, of course not. Of course not. And then so we'll finish off this on offense. I know Nick Sirianni doubled down, and I expected him to because coaches are process oriented, not result oriented. They want to believe in their process and think that if they do the same call 9 times out of 10, it's going to work. But I just more so the end of the game than the end of the first. I didn't love the conservative nature at the end of the first half. I mean, you had an opportunity to put points on the board. It was 3rd and 6, I think. I forget what it was. I mean, you still had some seconds left there. I just thought that they didn't have to get as conservative as they did. They don't turn the ball over, and Hurts had fumbled. It's not like he'd been throwing interceptions or close to.
By the way, he got it poked out. I don't put that on Hurts. That was a great defensive play.
It was a great defensive play, but I mean, you have to.
No, but the thing is, it wasn't. We've seen when he's been all quarterbacks really who fumble.
Right.
When they're sloppy with the way that they hold it. It was a really good defensive play. I didn't have a problem with it like other people might have. There are times when you could put it on the quarterback, but I wasn't a bad one.
Fair enough. But after that, I just thought it was a little I thought that they could have gone for the jugular a little bit more there at the end of the first half, right?
Yeah, I do. And just, I like that they have what's called the flat pass. So with Goddard, that's the new thing where basically it gets Hurts. This is what I've been asking for 2 seasons. Get Hurts to get rid of the football faster.
Right.
How do you do it? Flat, short area passes in the flat. That's called a flat pass. Get it out of his hands to Goddard. Goddard with his size and his athletic ability, it's pitch and catch. Like, keep doing it. It's okay. And then they're going to start playing it tighter, so then expand the passing game a little bit. But I think sometimes they skip steps. with their vertical routes. They sometimes it's kind of like they've done this since 23. Okay, 3 verts. Let's run guys deep, and then we'll try to find somebody. Like that take what you can get. That's getting Goddard and AJ Brown in the short area, but they need to do a better job of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was 3rd and 6, and there was I think there was like 35 seconds left. Oh no, there was less than that. But it's 3rd and 6, and you ran a draw to Will Shipley. Yeah. I mean, that's a submission play. Like, could you?
He didn't like that question. I listened to the play. I could tell he was not happy. He was just they were questioning that. I hear it now. Now see, the argument is, well, they've gotten that play before over the last couple of years where they've run a draw. On 3rd and more than 5.
I would argue that they've hit more. I go back to like the NFC Championship game as Washington was 4th and whatever, and they throw it deep down the left sideline and get one AJ.
That's like a great play.
Yeah. I mean, but even if you want to submit, could you throw a screen? Like, give something a chance that has a chance.
Right, screen. Okay, a little bit more. Like, I hear you. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I hear you. All right.
But really, the end of the 4th. I mean, I will never understand, because even in his answer, the decision to go for it on 4th down and throw the ball gets thrown at AJ. AJ doesn't really put up a whole fight for it. But Nick's answer was it was windy. I was afraid of the field goal. I mean, Jake Elliott's kicked some pretty unbelievable fair weather kicks or bad weather kicks before, but he didn't even mention the idea that he could punt. He was basically like, either I was going to go for it or a field goal. Like, why would a punt been bad? Because you're afraid about the ball getting to the 20. Well, they haven't moved the ball efficiently against your defense all game long. You almost showed no faith in a defense that won the game for you. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, from a snap count standpoint, just a couple notes here, which I thought were interesting. Calcaterra played a lot. He played 25. They had 63 offensive snaps. Calcaterra played 40% of them, 25 of them. Granson played. They rarely throw it to him, but he played 17 snaps. So again, they played a lot of 12 personnel. Shipley had 12. Darius Cooper had 11, which is interesting. Bigsby only had 8. Well, he didn't play a lot anyway. It's really interesting. Latu, I believe, started on the opening play, but he only had 5.
Yeah.
As the fullback. And I knew it. I saw Xavier Gibson in the first half. I'm like, 87. Is that Mechie? But he's gone. Who is that? Oh, it's Gibson.
Yeah, he plays the Mechie role now where he gets one target every who knows how long.
Don't trot off the field, right? Off that one play. And then other than that, Goddard played a ton of snaps, 86% of snaps. And that was it for offense.
Hey, it's Geoff Mosher. And if you have a family and kids at home like me, you always want them to be fully protected. That's why I'm thrilled to be a Simply Safe customer. And our house is equipped with the most technologically advanced alarm system you can get. If you could actually stop someone from breaking into your home before they got inside, why wouldn't you? Traditional security systems only react after a break-in. But Simply Safe is different because it stops crimes before they happen with Active Guard outdoor protection. Their AI-powered cameras detect threats while they're still outside your home, and they alert real security agents. These agents take action while the intruder is still outside and confront the intruder to let them know they're being watched on camera and police is on the way. And that's how you stop a crime before it's committed. There's no long-term contracts or hidden fees. You can cancel anytime, and it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Try it and see the difference for yourself. Do not miss out on Simply Safe's biggest sale of the year, 60% off. Our listeners get 60% off a Simply Safe home security system at simplysafe.com/bird. That's simplysafe.com/bird. Hey, I still like a good night out, but I'm not always in the mood to drink, and that's why I looked for a great alternative, and I found one. It's called Soul's Out of Office Gummies. You get the same light, happy buzz, but you don't have the hangover. There's no sugar, and you don't get that awkward feeling the next morning. They help me unwind and ease into my evening without the alcohol or the next day fog. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance your creativity and relaxation. With 5 different strengths, you can tailor the dose to fit your vibe. From a gentle 1.5 milligram microdose to their newest 15 milligram gummy for a more elevated experience. They've also got a variety of products specifically designed to help you get a better night's rest, including Soul's top selling sleep gummy, a fan favorite for deep restorative sleep. So bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering our audience 30% off your entire order. So go to getsoul.com and use the code BIRDS, BIRDS. That's getsoul.com, promo code BIRDS for 30% off. Yeah, so it was a heavy 12 personnel. I think they clearly wanted to try to get the run game going.
Yeah.
You could tell both coaches, and we'll get to defense in a second, were not thrilled with trying to move the ball through the air until they absolutely had to. And that was just the case. So
They
yeah,
tried. I think what happened was, like they're trying, and just whatever it is, they're just not in sync. The wind didn't have anything to do with the throws in the first half. They just timing was off for whatever reason. They just seemed like throw was there or wasn't there. Guy was late. The target, he wasn't there. From the Eagles standpoint, and then let's get to the defense. The Eagles pass rush was phenomenal. It's not just about sacks. It's about there's a coaching term. It's in the same vein as quarterback pressures. They're called quality rushes. The defensive line coaches I've talked to over the years use that term quality rush, QR, quality rush.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have to move the quarterback, whereas on a quarterback pressure, you don't necessarily have to do that. That's with the stat services. That's where coaches have an issue with it. They want the numbers, and they'll use their own eyes to see if they're legitimate, but they use them. But Jalen Phillips showed up. I mean, he was there. He had a great debut. I don't know how much you could ask for from this guy.
Yeah, forced fumble, a fumble recovery. I think he had 6 tackles, several pressures. He played right. He played where he played a lot in Miami until this year. And this year in Miami, he was playing inside a lot, but he played across the right tackle. Jalix Hunt, interestingly, even though Nolan Smith started, Nolan Smith didn't play nearly as many snaps as Jalix Hunt. And I thought Jalix Hunt showed up well. And this is 3 straight weeks now. I mean, Hunt going back to the pick 6 against the Vikings. He had the big sack against the Giants, and I thought he played actively against the run. I thought he was good, stirred good pressure. Clearly, with Nolan Smith coming back at him, they weren't trying to overwork him, especially with Hunt playing well. But it really was, like we've said all along, Vic is usually a 3-man rotation guy, and the casualties of that were that Josh Uche, I think, was basically on special teams, and Brandon Graham. Yeah, Brandon Graham played a smattering of snaps more so at the end of the game, but it was really that 3-man rotation of Jalen Phillips, Jalix Hunt, and Nolan Smith that carried the torch there.
Yeah, Phillips played a ton of snaps. Out of their 68 defensive snaps, he had 53. So, but obviously he's in game shape. He's been playing for the Dolphins. So,
yeah,
Hunt played a lot, 43 out of 68 snaps. Nolan Smith only 19 out of 68 because this is his first game back. And he was impactful. He had some good plays there, no question about it. BG only had 10 as he gets himself into football shape. I'm just looking at defensive line shit. I don't know why this happened. It's odd because in a game where they're trying to run, because Green Bay, Matt LaFleur's all about balance, and it catches up to him sometimes. In this game, it did, trying to run the ball too much. Jordan Davis only played 29 snaps, 43%. So he played less than 50%. That I don't know why that happened. Ojomo, by the way, Moro Ojomo had at least 3 quality rushes. He had one where like, did he jump the snap? I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
He looked good.
He did.
Yeah.
He also played good run defense, I thought, for the most part.
Yeah, he looked good. No doubt about it. N'Kobe had some plays. Now the only issue I had with the defense is they had some leakage in the run defense. It wasn't terrible, but Josh Jacobs, who's not really explosive, and it'll show 3.5 yards per rush. That's not the point. The point is, if you're watching closely, there were some times they were not in the right gap where they tackled air, where they didn't tackle the ball carrier. Love is a very deceptive runner. He can run a little bit, and he had a big 12-yarder. It wasn't like they got killed against the run, but there's some runs, and they had one special teams gaff early in terms of a return. They could have done a better job, but overall though, they only gave up 7.
Yep.
The D-line brought it. This road, I'll tell you what, man. You're adding 3 players going forward now. BG to a much lesser extent. It's just not going to play a lot because, as you said, they've got the 3 guys you're going to rotate with. Hunt didn't look like he played a lot in nickel, but we'll ask Greg about what his guys at NFL Films usually chart that stuff. But it's going to work, and it allows, because you have this depth now. You get Nolan Smith be able to get his conditioning back. BG obviously has been out for 9 months. you get to do that, and you bring in a guy like Phillips who has no weakness. It's just, is he back totally? Everything we were told, he's 80-90% back from a tape study from someone told us. Coming back from his second major lower leg injury, but he was impactful. You couldn't tell it. He didn't look 100%. He was great, and all they gave up was a 3rd-round pick for that. And that, by the way, I believe they gave up theirs, not the better of the 3rd rounders.
Right. That's correct. I think Jahad Campbell got in there as a nickel edge a couple of times, not a whole lot. The couple of rushes that I saw in that regard, it didn't look like he's as refined as the others. He's still really coming along as an edge rusher in the 4-man front. It's not his strength right now. He did have that unfortunate, the DPI in the 4th quarter there, but
he got, that was definitely penalty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But he clearly is getting caught as Vic Fangio, and I can understand this. Vic Fangio is playing Nakobe Dean. Nakobe's playing well as an off-ball linebacker in the nickel. He's diagnosing well. I think that's the biggest difference that you can see, his ability to key diagnose, get the front set, get the back set, and he blitzed. It's even though that Campbell is the better athlete and a great blitzer from an off-ball linebacker spot, Nakobe's always been a really good blitzer going back to Georgia. And we were curious. Everybody was. You and I were curious. Could he come back from that devastating patellar tendon injury and be the same player? And he looks pretty good. I gotta say, I understand why Vic is doing what he's doing, because he brings. It's not like you're losing a whole lot by putting the stability and the experience on the field. You're not losing too much in the athleticism department because he's making plays against the run and in the blitz.
Yeah, and remember, Nakobe's on the fine of his rookie deal. If he doesn't come back here, he's auditioning for other teams, and man, he's putting up a pretty damn good audition. Really remarkable. So in terms of snap count, so Jomo, of the 68 snaps, he had 47, 69% of the snaps. Jalen Phillips, 53 out of 68. He played a ton. Jalen Carter, 63 out of 2 huge
passes.
Past his defense. Yeah, wow. He get your hands up. Yeah, did a great job there. He looked healthy. His motor, his physical strength. He does. To me, he's a more athletic than Dominican Sue. He really, Sue's bigger, but man, just the way that the violence with her hands, just incredible. Now Campbell still played a lot. He played half of the defensive snaps. He played 34% of the 34 snaps of the 68. Nolan Smith, though, I think the key is he looked good. He was impactful in his 19 snaps. So their front, knock on wood, they're really healthy and they're really deep right now.
Yeah, I would say of the guys that really stood out to me watching the game would be obviously Jalen Phillips and Ajomo. I thought Ajomo played a really smart, fundamentally sound game in the middle. I don't know if you heard, he called out that inside zone that the Packers tried to run. So he was clearly all over everything, and that was a really good game for him. On the back end, Adam, man, Quinyon Mitchell had 3 enormous PBUs. I mean, and again, for the third or fourth game, it amazes me. I'm almost frustrated as a football observer, take the teams out of it, that I like Matt LaFleur. I've always thought he was a good play caller and has a good feel for the game, but he infuriated me as a play caller. I thought, as you have said many times, he's known to be a conservative guy, but man, you took your quarterback and essentially neutered him in the first half of that game. You didn't start throwing until you were down 10-0, and then all of a sudden you start making some plays, right? Surprise, surprise. But you had an opportunity to go after Adoree Jackson. He got beat on a deep over by Dobbs, who just dropped the ball. I mean, the whole passing game for the Packers was out of rhythm because they probably sit there and watch the coach dial up one run after another, one run up the gut after another, after another, after another. There was at one point after the end of the first, I think it was 9 runs and 4 passes. And I'm just perplexed. I mean, maybe, and to me, Jordan Love never looked comfortable. And I don't know if it's because the Eagles were that good or because his coach never lets him throw 2 passes in a row ever. He never looked comfortable in the pocket to me.
Which is funny because LaFleur finally got out of his own skin against Pittsburgh when I think Love went 20 for 20 in the 4th quarter.
Yeah. And
the media was so shocked. They're like, why did you keep throwing? He goes, it was so good. Jordan Love was so good. He's like, I just kept calling it because he was unstoppable. Look, he didn't play well. Jordan Love was jittery. The Eagles made him jittery. They collapsed the pocket a lot. Remember, Elton Jenkins got hurt. He had a broken lower leg, so he's obviously going to be out for the rest of the regular season, if not longer.
Yeah.
So that was a big injury, and that had helped them. They had drops in the game. Boy, Bo Melton, terrible drop on a critical third down.
Oh, awful.
That was a bad one. You
Yeah.
mentioned Dobbs. You got to make that catch. Dobbs wound up he left the game. Didn't come back. That's why Wicks started getting the ball. He was playing with a minor calf strain. He played through it. Give him credit. And you saw the effect of not having Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft might be the NFL's best runner after the catch tight end. He's unbelievable.
Yep.
But Luke Musgrave is not him. And it's funny because they were in the same draft and Musgrave was drafted higher.
Yeah.
But they are where they are. And the Eagles defensive roster now is fortified with these new players.
Yeah. But how good was Quinyon? And I thought Reed Blankenship tackled well, but Quinyon was just a stud in this game. And for whatever reason, they went after him. And that was a bad
we got to start talking about him as an all-pro. I see. The thing is, does he give up a share of plays? Does he get occasional penalty? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no one is Darrelle Revis. Okay. Like that, the island is one thing. We've got Quinyon's island, so to speak, but he's just it's just so funny because so many teams are so worried about his inability to play man coverage, which by the way, he's phenomenal at it. He didn't play it at Toledo. Right. Doesn't mean he can't. And the Eagles were satisfied after they saw him at the Senior Bowl. Like, all right, we're good. We're good. We don't care that he went to Toledo. They judge the player, not the jersey. That's the Bill Polian line.
Right.
That, he told me about years ago. He goes, that's when you paralyze yourself, you're worried about the system or where you played rather than the performance, Yep. And that's the point.
Reminds me of also the way Goddard was never a blocker in college. He was a flex tight end. And then all of a sudden he comes to the NFL and he's like, hey, this guy can actually block really, really well.
Really well. Really well.
Good go figure. I mean, he should. He's a huge individual who's strong, but he never was asked to do it. Just like Quinyon, he's fast and he's physical. I mean, he should be like your prototype man press corner, but he just wasn't asked to do it. And everything else he did at an elite level. So, yeah, you're right.
And the other thing is, which I really, really like for a young player, he doesn't let a play bother him. It's okay, next play.
Yeah.
You have to forget about it when you're playing corner, when you're on that island. You're going to get beat. Darius Slay's talking it forever, man. You can't worry about it. It's going to happen. You're going to get beat. Nobody's perfect. You just next play. And he's pretty special. Boy, it's this defense is rounding into form here. If they don't have any catastrophic injuries, they've got it. They've really deep. It's just now we'll see about Alexander. It's really with Alexander, it's just more from he just got there. He's got to learn the defense. The knee, he said it, and our understanding is it's true. It's not the knee with him. Right now, it's his understanding of the defense. He just got there. Mm-hmm. And they play a very specific style of coverage and zone, the match, carry, deliver. It's not for everyone. Ja'Cory Bennett didn't quite get it, before he got hurt, before he had a pectoral strain. And it's coming up this week. They've got the deadline to activate him, so we'll see what happens there. But, boy, if he could get on the roster, their depth is looking better.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I think to last year's success why the Eagles were so good so quickly when they put Cooper DeJean in to the defense, because his understanding going back to Iowa of those zone principles that Vic Fangio preaches that Iowa has been running for 15 years was such a natural fit that, the only thing that held him back was the hamstring injury. It wasn't really knowledge of the defense. He was able to get in there and make an immediate impact because he played in that kind of similar zone style of defense at Iowa. So that's really helpful. If you've not played in it, to your point, or only have little experience, it's tough. It's tough to learn in just 1 week. So we'll have to see.
Oh, real quick. Michael Carter had one defensive snap, and so did Sidney Brown.
Oh yeah, I wonder when they came in. They must have played like some kind of.
I didn't see him.
I bet Brown was probably in on a goal line, like when the Packers got closer to, on that last play that Jacob scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
might have been there.
And Ringo, who's they clearly don't want to use, he did play 4 snaps of defense. That's because
Quinyon came out, right?
Quinyon got hurt. But Quinyon came back. So yeah, that's kind of where they're at. And bottom line is they won. Really looking forward to Detroit and Dan Campbell coming in. Dan Campbell, who took the plays away from John Morton. We'll talk more about that on our next show.
Cool. So we'll have all of our normally scheduled shows, and I agree with you. This is going to be a very interesting week leading up to short turnaround against the Lions with the status of Lane Johnson. Not certain. We have no idea if Cam Jurgens will be able to be back. But very encouraging signs for the Philadelphia Eagles defense coming out of this 10-7 win over the Packers. That's going to do it for the Inside the Birds post-game show. For Adam Caplan, I'm Geoff Mosher. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.